Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. The F-35 Lightning II was designed as a family of fifth-generation stealth fighters. But among its three major variants, the F-35B is the one that stands out most dramatically at sea. Unlike conventional fighters that need long runways or catapult launches, the F-35B was built for short takeoff and vertical landing, or STOVL. That single capability gives it a level of flexibility few modern combat aircraft can match. It allows the jet to operate from amphibious assault ships, smaller carriers, and austere forward bases, giving the US Marine Corps and Allied navies access to stealth air power in places where a conventional fighter simply could not go. But the F-35B's feared reputation begins long before it reaches the deck of a ship. It starts in the training pipeline, where student pilots are introduced to one of the most advanced combat aircraft ever built. Learning to fly the F-35 is not just about mastering speed, altitude, and weapon delivery. It is about managing a platform that fuses enormous amounts of information into a single combat picture. Student pilots must learn how to fly, fight, interpret data, and trust the aircraft's systems while keeping pace with the demands of a fifth-generation battlespace. That is why simulation plays such a central role in the F-35 training process. Before pilots ever conduct complex live sorties, they spend long hours inside high-fidelity simulators that replicate the aircraft's cockpit. Systems logic, mission planning, emergency procedures, and tactical environment. The simulator allows them to repeat difficult scenarios, develop cockpit familiarity, and build confidence in the aircraft's digital ecosystem. In a jet like the F-35, where the pilot is constantly interacting with sensors, software, and mission data, simulation is not a supplement. It is one of the foundations of readiness. Another critical part of training is the F-35 helmet. Unlike traditional fighter helmets, the Generation 3 helmet is not just a piece of protective gear. It is one of the jet's most important mission systems. The pilot's helmet projects flight data, targeting cues, and sensor information directly into the line of sight. It must be fitted with extreme precision so that the imagery aligns correctly with the pilot's vision and the aircraft's systems. In practical terms, the helmet becomes an extension of the cockpit itself. It is one more reason why the F-35 pilot does not simply sit inside the jet. The pilot becomes integrated with it. That level of preparation matters even more once the aircraft moves into the maritime environment. At sea, space is limited, timing is unforgiving, and every movement on deck must be controlled with precision. Aboard ships like USS Tripoli, sailors can be seen moving F-35Bs between the flight deck and the hangar in a carefully choreographed operation. These amphibious assault ships were not originally designed as full-size supercarriers. Yet the F-35B allows them to take on a new role as compact strike platforms. This idea is sometimes described as the lightning carrier concept, using amphibious assault ships to project fifth-generation combat power forward without relying exclusively on large fleet carriers. That concept works because of the F-35B's extraordinary propulsion arrangement. Unlike the F-35A or F-35C, the B variant can redirect engine power to lift itself during vertical landing and assist short takeoffs. It uses a shaft-driven lift fan behind the cockpit, a swiveling rear exhaust nozzle, and roll control nozzles to distribute thrust and stabilize the aircraft. In vertical landing mode, this system allows the jet to descend in a controlled hover and settle onto the deck without the need for arresting wires. During takeoff, it can use a shorter run and transition into conventional flight far more quickly than most other jets. That combination is what makes the F-35B so unique in naval aviation. During flight operations from USS Tripoli, Marine F-35Bs demonstrate exactly how much flexibility this offers. Instead of needing catapults and long-angled decks, the jet can launch from a shorter deck, run and recover vertically back onto the ship. This allows amphibious assault ships to become much more than helicopter carriers. With F-35Bs embarked, they can function as true strike platforms, capable of bringing stealth, sensor fusion, and multi-role combat capability deep into contested maritime environments. The same flexibility is visible aboard the United Kingdom's HMS Queen Elizabeth. There, the F-35B takes advantage of the carrier's ski ramp design rather than a catapult. The aircraft rolls forward, uses the ramp to convert forward motion into upward lift, and transitions into conventional flight while still benefiting from its stoval architecture. This gives the jet another operational advantage. It can work effectively from both US amphibious ships and British carriers, adapting to different deck designs while still delivering fifth-generation air power. In that sense, the F-35B is not just a US Marine Corps aircraft. It is a shared naval asset with real strategic value across Allied fleets. Its vertical landing capability is equally important. In field carrier landing practice, Marine pilots rehearse the transition from forward flight into a stabilized vertical recovery. That demands exact power control, position awareness, and confidence in the thrust vectoring system. The jet must reduce speed, shift, lift balance, and hold itself steady while descending toward the deck. Unlike a conventional arrested landing, where the aircraft arrives fast and grabs a wire, the F-35B settles down under controlled thrust. It is a different kind of carrier aviation altogether, less about brute momentum and more about precision, balance, and system control. To understand how unusual that is, it helps to compare the F-35B with the other variants in the family. The F-35A is the conventional takeoff and landing model, built for standard runways and optimized for Air Force-style basing. The F-35C is the carrier variant, designed specifically for catapult launches and arrested recoveries aboard large US Navy aircraft carriers. It has a larger wing, stronger landing gear, and folding wingtips to handle the demands of fleet carrier operations. The B, by contrast, gives up some internal volume and structural simplicity in exchange for STOVL flexibility. That trait is exactly what makes it so valuable. It is the only version that can deliver stealth fighter performance from such a wide range of ships and locations. The difference becomes even more obvious when looking at how the F-35C operates aboard a supercarrier. On ships like USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, flight deck control teams closely monitor the movement of F-35Cs across the deck. Every taxi, every launch, and every recovery is part of a tightly managed cycle. The catapult control station oversees launches, while flight deck crews manage spacing, safety, and sequencing. It is the classic model of US Navy carrier aviation: powerful, disciplined, and highly structured. The F-35C fits perfectly into that environment, but it depends on the supercarrier system to do so. The F-35B does not. That is what makes it so dangerous and so strategically important. It can operate from ships that do not have catapults, from decks that are far shorter, and from locations much closer to the fight. It can turn amphibious assault ships into stealth strike platforms and extend the reach of navies that do not operate full-size supercarriers. In the end, the F-35B's feared reputation is not based on one single feature. It comes from the way all of its features work together. The training pipeline shapes pilots who can manage one of the most advanced combat aircraft ever built. The helmet and sensor systems turn the pilot into part of the aircraft's data network. The lift fan, swiveling nozzle, and thrust vectoring controls give the jet a capability no conventional fighter can match at sea. And once it reaches the deck, the aircraft proves why it matters, launching from smaller ships, landing vertically, and bringing fifth-generation combat power into the ocean battle space in a way that changes what naval aviation can be. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.